Okay. Oh,
Sorry, we're doing that one more time.
okay.
Welcome to Aural Hygiene, the podcast where we look at educational films, experimental films, weird documentaries, and the like. This is Matt, and with me today is Scott Atkinson. Hello, Scott.
Greetings all. Greetings, Matt. How's it going?
Pretty good. You getting fat out there?
Well, someone will be on this foray into the world of cycling.
There's
And
two people in today's
unfortunately, it's
podcast.
only one.
Yeah, only one. So it's kind of a game show going today. But the film is One Got Fat, which is a bit of an oddball one. And sorry, I the year 63, is it?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So with the backdrop of the American Civil Rights Movement, just perhaps slightly prior to the assassination of JFK and Vietnam War escalating.
I like to think it was the day of. That's when they filmed this.
It could have been. I mean, a lot of people died on that day, I can tell you. I mean,
Yeah, including some monkeys.
yeah, well,
sorry, that's in the design sort of the way. I'm not trying to make some bizarro alt-right statement or something.
Yeah, I mean, with this short film written by Dale Jennings. I think he liked to be called Dale Jennings. He was a Texas-born American, war veteran, playwright, LGBT activist, and known for his Western 1972, The Cowboys. But this one here, they did decide to use monkey sort of masks for 9 out of 10 cyclists.
Some nightmare-inducing masks. And
9 out of 10 can't be wrong. In this case, they could. And as we'll talk
before
about
we
that.
roll in too deeply, I like to force my guest to give the 4 or 5 sentence like TV guide synopsis on this thing.
Yeah, well, basically, in short, if you ever want to discourage your kids from taking up the deadly art of cycling, this is probably the short film to show them. So basically what you've got is a 9-block trip to the park undertaken by a group of kids in monkey masks, all except one. One is running on foot, one is another two are doubling. And it's basically a foray into kids on bikes and also the road rules that have to be observed or else.
Yeah,
the goal is to get to the park unmauled and unscathed. Good luck with that.
Right. So we'll see how that rolls. But maybe you showed this one. I usually show people the educational films and weird films first, but I think you might have brought this my way first.
It is possible because I first heard about, or at least I got the imagery, the rather arcane and grotesque imagery and creepy imagery from a friend who was into the boards of Canada. And on their song, I think Everything You Do Is a Balloon.
Yeah.
They use a lot of this imagery to maximum effect. And that kind of got me on to the safety video from 1963.
I believe the Boards of Canada one is a fan-made film. I don't think it's great. It's like maybe one of their better videos, but it's not actually from their own wheelhouse, so to speak.
Yeah, yes. There's also a lot of other media like that borrows a lot from this bicycle film, or I don't know what you call it, scare film. But one song that I've been enjoying is, I think, by a German band called Weekend Wolves, and this song is called, aptly named Karma.
Wow, there we go. Not Weekend Monkeys. That may have made more sense.
Yeah.
Baboons of the Weekend.
Yeah, it's
what strain of monkey?
Yeah, because I mean, the monkey masks do make up a huge part of the creepiness, the sort of surreality of this footage.
They disturb me. I put in my own notes, it's hella disturbing makeup. It's almost like a Aphex Twins window licker or something. You've seen that one with as the Aphex Twin masks keep getting creepier and creepier. So do these.
Yeah. And the faithful narrator to this short film said, I guess in his sort of ominous, non-compassionate Alan Watts, like imagine a non-compassionate Alan Watts with his plummy British voice. And but he said each one of them took care of his bicycle as exactly as he took care of himself. So hence the massive dollops of heavy karma dealt out
there's
to
some
these
karma.
pre-psychedelic kids.
I ran across a note actually that the oh geez, I sorry I don't have the narrator's name, but he did do the fractured fairy tales on Bullwinkle and Friends. He was that narrator.
Oh yes, yeah, that would be. I found out his name was Edward Everett Horton.
There we go.
Yeah, from
Horton
that time
Hears a
he
Who.
was a very familiar voice, and also an actor too.
Yeah, but for me,
Photography
I
was
got
by Max Hutto.
I got a hit from that fractured fairy tales because when I was growing up, it was actually hard. Oh man, this here's a blast from the past. We actually had like a weird themed Bullwinkle's restaurant with like an animatronic Bullwinkle and stuff. I'm pretty sure it
Just
was.
what you need.
I think I went there like twice and then it closed. It was too weird to live. But and half of me is like, did I dream it? But I'll, now I'm gonna have to search that out. But I think that was actually a chain or at least a restaurant for a while. I guess
Probably
Bullwinkle.
freak out a lot of kids, but I mean, for people of our ilk and generation, hey,
Well, that'd
bring
be
it
the
on.
80s. I think, I guess people have
Chuck E.
forgotten.
Cheese and things like that.
It was like Chuck E. Cheese. It was like it felt slightly more geared to adults, as I suppose Bullwinkle actually is when you get down to it. But yeah, because they made a movie starring De Niro, right? So
Wow.
but you don't know about
Okay.
the no. Sorry, we're not getting a Bullwinkle today. But yeah, there's a De Niro where he's Snidely Whiplash or whatever. Is that anyway? Whatever the Bullwinkle villain is.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got nothing on some of the interesting names here with our bicycle cycling troupe.
Yeah, I wrote a few down.
Very Roald Dahl-esque
I should have
names.
written them all down, but I did write Rudy Toot Jasperson.
Yeah, he's the first one that wipes out. He's
There's
he goes out with a sort of cartoon sound effect boing as he goes under the car, I think.
I said he's a
If he
slam
didn't
bam.
signal, he made the crime of not signaling. So the narrator says Rudy Toot Jasperson left the party, and that's.
I just want to throw out. I guess I'll throw out the names, and if you want to do that, you can. I didn't quite remember. I wrote like you're gonna die if you're happy all the time for McDillin Titty.
Yeah. So that was Tink. Yeah, that's right, Tinkerbell. Yeah.
Tink Mandillin Titty. Okay, that's a hell of a name.
That's actually, McDillin Fitty.
Fitty. Okay, I heard titty.
Fitty.
I like Fitty's fun too, but I like what I heard.
Yeah, McDillin, because I mean, Bobby Dylan, or Bob Dylan was, I think, singing with Joan Baez at that time in the '60s. So maybe it's a bit of a play on words or something. But
yeah,
I don't know if Bob Dylan has any Scottish ancestry, but McDillin Fitty. Yeah.
Maybe Maybe they're into Donovan more.
Yeah, or Dante. I think because all these kids are going to Dante's Inferno, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Crime of being happy, and
they already look like hell creatures, so they're halfway there.
Yeah, because I think when Ruti wipes out, so he's the first one, so he doesn't signal. Fair enough. I mean, the lesson in this case. So basically, with each kid, with each child riding on these bikes, they make one grave error. And it kind of maps in a little bit with the 7 deadly sins. But Rudy Toot Jasperson, his folly was kind of pride. His lesson was to make hand signals. He was proud of his new bike, arrogantly riding ahead of the others to sort of, appear better than them, perhaps. He rides into the path of an oncoming car. He didn't signal. The car didn't slow down. So... and maybe the subtle message to kids subliminally is don't break convention, don't break social norms. So.
Well, the next message I wrote, maybe this goes under sloth because he didn't fix his bike, but I just wrote, if you don't have a bike, thou art fucked. I didn't catch his name, but yeah, it's just like, okay, he didn't have a bike. What's the problem?
That is must be pomegranate. Yeah, he comes up a little bit later. That's right. So his bike was stolen. He didn't have a license. So I'm sure they've got like bloody 20 detectives working on the case. If he had a license, I'm sure the police really care.
I think I still have a
So,
bicycle sitting in the next prefecture over. I lost the key quite a while ago. I lost all my keys,
yeah.
actually. That sucked, but the bike key among those. So
I,
it's a
I
good.
think, yeah. Sorry to cut in, but I think with Mosby, the lesson to kids was submit to authority, trust authority, or else. So you have that bicycle license. And,
That's kind of
yeah, I
rough
mean, sure. I
people.
mean,
Laws.
there's points to having a license. There's points to having police, but I just felt subliminally that was there was a bit of a message there to
Okay.
young whippersnappers.
The next message I got is never trust a buddy. There's a flaw in the buddy system.
Yeah, that's the narrator saying that. Yes.
Oh, did he say that? Sometimes I just write down things they say. I don't think he said there's a flaw in the buddy system, but
Yeah. It's yeah, and I felt like Slim Jim is a little bit bigger in girth, and I noticed the narrator taking pot shots at that. I thought that was a bit snide and snarky, but
right.
um,
What's their
but
sense? Lust?
the
They're
lesson to kids
lustful
is
for each other.
help another, not your, if you help another and not just yourself, you'll pay the price, buddy. That was not what I got out of that one.
Lust. That's lust. I'm trying to work your 7 sins in here still. See what else I
Yeah,
got.
because we had to cover lust. I don't know if it's appropriate for a kid's bicycle safety film, but I mean, hey, there's a lot can go on when one's doubling on a bike.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Nelbert's a pretty sexy name.
Yeah, let's see. So
Is
that's
Nelbert
right,
the one on the
Nellie
sidewalks?
Zweiback. Yeah.
Okay. Is she the one on the sidewalks?
Yeah, that's right. I think she has like some spatial encroachment issues. So yeah, she felt a bit crowded. She was.
I
Then
always
she
rode
took to
around
the
on the
sidewalk.
sidewalks.
Yeah.
I always rode this. I think now you actually can in Japan, but back when I was still riding a bike in Japan, you could yeah, I think you were supposed to ride on sidewalks.
Yeah, because I mean, the lack of bicycle lanes here, the lack of wearing helmets too. I mean, in Australia it's compulsory, but in Japan, there's a lot of people with common sense here, but cyclists don't tend to wear
I think there is a
helmets.
law, but basically, unless they're high school or under, high schoolers probably don't. But I think junior high or elementary kids have a helmet. That about covers
Yeah,
it most of the time.
actually, it's an interesting thread of discussion because very quickly throughout this whole video, nobody's wearing a helmet. Even like the golden boy Orville, who makes it to the finish line, he's the only one. He doesn't wear it. He's not wearing a helmet.
I don't think it was a thing at the time. I think people just assumed you don't wear a helmet on a bicycle. I mean, maybe a street
But it makes
cyclist would.
sense. I mean, but anyway, yeah, maybe that's just my progressionist ways. Yeah.
I feel like you're really a little reticent to get on a bicycle. Am I correct in that? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. What's up with
Yeah.
that? Did you crash into a wall once or something?
Uh, I had been hit by a car, but it was at low speed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, as for me, I didn't.
No biggie.
I learned to ride a bicycle when I was like 25 and in Japan. So I actually could drive. I had a license to drive a bus before I knew how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah. Well, it's the American way.
Yeah. So one of my notes is I wrote, oh yeah, I was my sin, I guess. I was a stone cold Filbert with a shitty bike. So I might have had the bike when you were rolling around with me, and I'm sure you heard some of the creakiness on that thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess the lesson to kids with this one was, don't dare stop spit polishing your bayonet, or you get flattened in life. You don't stop looking after your bike, or the boogeyman's going to come.
I eventually just got a new bike. I got that red one. That is the one that I lost the key for. But yeah, because the one before that was this gray behemoth that was just super squeaky, like Filbert here. So, but
Yes.
maybe it's like the Full Metal Jacket thing. This is my rifle. This is my gun. You don't replace that.
Yeah. Because also there's some interesting subliminal messaging here. I'm probably reading a little bit too much into this, but then again, I mean, especially at that age, kids are very impressionable. I felt with Nellie, just going back to Nellie very quickly, it was like a message for girls. At that time, don't deviate from the path, or going it alone or becoming independent. So I think it was like a insidious way of social control there.
Well, also with the narrator, it's always like he'll make some like moralistic point,
patronizing.
right?
Yes,
Right.
yeah, that's right.
Of
That's
course,
right.
it's like, hey, dude, you didn't give me a chance to answer, man. Maybe I don't agree
Yeah,
with your system.
yeah, exactly. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think that yeah, maybe if it's like maybe that would be Alan Watts if he didn't drop acid in the '60s. You know, he'd be doing these sorts of uh, safety commercials and things like that, which are just like really insidious. Yeah.
Right. Now there's something I noticed.
Right.
I guess the next one is
Sorry.
yeah, you made me agree with you. Okay. Now I'm moving on. What are your thoughts? I have a new thought. Higginbottom's the next one. He's going
Yes.
into the tunnel from Back to the Future too, isn't he?
I couldn't say for sure, but I mean it's a damn dark tunnel, and the cars going into it also don't have their lights on.
Yeah, he needed
So
a hoverboard.
I could see that being the the tunnel from Back to the Future. I I did read where the location was, but I forgot it. It's like La Cupertino, California. I can't quite remember it.
Okay, I was
But
basically going to say California would be a hit in that case because a lot of these educational films were filmed in like Lawrence, Kansas. If that was the case, yes, definitely. Well, they don't have mountains anyway, but to put tunnels in.
yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah. They had William Burroughs, right?
what
University
in
of
Lawrence?
Kansas. But anyway, that's
Okay,
I'm
yeah. Sorry,
diverting.
I was like, it was Burroughs in this movie. Okay, he might as well been.
He could have been.
So yeah, in the end,
But yeah, he can bottom though. Yeah, I mean, I guess my subliminal take on this, right, was don't take on the unknown by yourself because there be monsters. So don't try to strike out and deviate from social norms.
okay. Well, I'm going to read just like my last 4 lines of notes here, which I usually don't
Yes.
do, but it's almost like a little poem, like a tanka. I don't think it's a tanka, but the hero sits in solitude, eating the food of all his dead friends. All of my friends are dead. The real monster is the human. Go ahead, America. Get yourself fat off the blood of the fallen. It seems poetic. I mean, it changed from first person to second person to third person, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's
not
probably Henry Kissinger's favorite film.
it's not a happy ending for
Anyway.
anyone, is it? I mean, that little kid, the human. I just feel like it's used.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't submit to authority. I mean, they got what they deserved. No, but I mean, I think that was part of the moral of this because I mean, kids would be like wiped out in horrendous ways, like even like casualties to defer, like or to deter the SAS or Black Berets or something like that. They wouldn't go into battle with those sorts of horrendous odds, but the kids would all cycle on until the next one's wiped out.
Yeah, they don't care.
Brutal,
They're racing. They're racing to the park, right?
I mean, there's one instance where they do stop, where the kid with the bike trouble, he didn't maintain his bike. That was Filbert, yeah, Filbert Bagel. He goes under a steamroller out of all things. Oh gosh, I mean, but the two kids, Orv, the guy who survives, and the guy who's about to ride into the tunnel, that's the only case they stop, and they just let Filbert ride on, and his brakes don't work, into the path of a steamroller.
He has a lesson to teach them. They need to watch the lesson.
That's right. That's right. Listen and learn. Look and
Teaching
learn,
you a
everyone.
lesson with my life.
Yeah.
But I'm like the kid at the end. I mean, he's the hero. What? That looks depressing. He's sitting there with those inhuman sandwiches,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Yeah. I mean, my big sack's hard to handle on its own.
Yeah. I did notice that quip there. Yeah. And yeah, each time, one of these poor little tykes is wiped out, and you've got the sort of jolly skipping through the daisies music.
Right.
After they've just horrendously bitten the dust, and the others are just like cycling on like some military juggernaut on campaign. It's brutal.
Yeah. It's on TV as we're recording this on TV, and I guess I'll release this for too long, but there's the WandaVision on TV now, or streaming or whatever, which is kind of interesting. It's Marvel universe. It's the Scarlet Vision, but each episode so far is set they're weirdly set in like a sitcom. So the first one is like a 50s sitcom, second episode's like a 60s sitcom, third one's 70s sitcom, and I guess they're gonna move on from there. But yeah,
Yes, yes.
I I was just thinking I had just watched the 60s and 70s one, so that music, for example, some of the tropes, something insane happening and folks just kind of like whizzing by it. It's got one guy just basically like running a chainsaw through his concrete wall, and he's like, "Oh, whoops! I didn't notice I was doing that."
As one does.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah, yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking we've covered all the characters. I think we've given a rundown. I'm just going to just check my notes very briefly here. Just make sure we've yeah, I mean, all these poor souls with their Roald Dahl sorts of names. Just yeah, it's quite a body count here.
Yeah, I got a little lazy at the end, matching the 7 sins. I mean, there's 7 of those. Come on, after 3, the listener can work out the rest.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was one that let's see, there was one Philip Flugel. I think he was kind of like embodying the sort of alpha male, sort of socially dominant. He was like mentioned to be like the class captain and head of the sports team or something like that. And I think maybe his lesson was pride, but the lesson to kids was don't be cheeky and submit to authority. That's what I sort of noted about him. So
You mean don't be cheeky and submit to authority? Sorry, I just heard you wrong. Don't be cheeky and don't submit to authority. Sorry, maybe I'm just
that would
wrong syntax.
yeah. I mean, basically, it was sort of like don't be ornery and just toe the line because your elders know better than you, kind of. Because there's a steamroller or there's a dump truck just waiting around the corner to wipe you out. So
did I ever show you there's the Steve Martin sketch from the early 80s where it's a drunk driving and steamrollers? He's coming out of a party. It's like morning. He's coming out. Oh, I can drive. You should take his seat. Oh, he'll be fine. And then gets in a steamroller and drunk drives over a boy playing with his ball. So that came to mind.
Yeah, and I think on the movie Fish Called Wanda too, there's like a on the tarmac at the wet tarmac at one of the airports, when the protagonist gets run over by a slow-moving steamroller. It's pretty comical. But
yeah, steamrollers are always good for comedy. I think The Naked Gun has one of those too. So hey, maybe we got to give this film props. So that's maybe the first steamroller joke. I can't think of one before it.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many kids had turned off riding bicycles. Maybe they became steamroller drivers or something like that.
Hey man, what's your sense of humor like? I'm into steamrollers. That could be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we see all sorts of comedy on TV here in Japan. So yeah, maybe steamrollers could be the next big thing. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure in Australia, where I'm from, there's probably a room for that too.
But I think I've pretty said my piece on this one. I would have been finished after 10 minutes if not for the 7 deadly sins. So that's cool. Thanks. Other than I just got to throw out that font at the beginning of the movie. That is impressive. That is a bizarro font. I liked that.
Yeah, you can tell they lavished a lot of time and love on this.
Well, like you said, it's the screenwriter to the Cowboys. You said they got the Bullwinkle narrator. They're actually, unlike some films, this one actually does have a little bit of is talent the right word? Probably. People who know what they're doing, let's put it that way, because this one is well put together. Is it condescending? Sure. But
yeah.
I bit my tongue, by the way.
I guess you've got the one got fat bug now. I mean, just watch out for any steamrollers on your street, Matt.
Yeah. If you're listening, I was just poked on the shoulder and jumppt.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, it's not any.
You have video, man. You could have warned me.
I'm not going to break up the narrational strand. I mean, you're on a roll there. I was listening to the words of wisdom.
I don't even remember what I was saying now.
But one thing that kind of got my interest was that you've got this, like, for me, from the Antipodes, you've got this beautiful sort of, I guess how I imagine American suburbia. You've got this. It seems so wholesome, and it's very leafy because where I'm from, it's quite dry in Australia, and but there it seems very verdant, and you've got these nice houses, and it's kind of weird. It's a weird juxtaposition because you've got all this massive death just right around the corner. So it's a bit like maybe Jeffrey Dahmer's neighborhood or something like
Well,
that.
I like to say the best educational films like mildly resemble David Lynch films. Again, that's where I brought up the WandaVision. That's kind of like the newest iteration of that particular, or the current, as of this recording, iteration of that particular vibe. So
yes. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like it's a part of those sort of scare educational films. Scarecational. I can't get it
there
out
probably is a name for that. Scaradelic. I've seen that around. That's for the
that probably
ones,
sounds more sensible. Yeah.
Those are for the acid
Scarific.
ones.
But yeah, I mean, it's I guess because looking at the backdrop of the times too, because the Vietnam War was escalating too. It's kind of weird, if you're going to make a video like that, why not make one on the dangers of following, blindly believing one's country's foreign policy or joining a war?
That's not good for business.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can't. God forbid we upset business, right? Yeah.
Well, I guess
that was just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I should do my business unless you had another major point to make.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just felt just at the end with Orville being sort of helmetless. I think he could have taken a bullet too, but
in the park, yeah,
that's been a bit snide. But I mean, just picking out on all these, all the goods from his fallen comrades. I felt Orville, mate. Wow. Yeah. Right. But anyway, I guess, it was aptly titled. It seems a bit confusing to the first-time viewer. One got fat, but the ending of that short film makes sense. So I think if anybody feels like a tripped out visual experience, and if you like horror or intense suspense, this is probably the short film educational film for you. And definitely check out some of the music from it too. A lot of it's bloody good.
Yeah, I actually mix this up a bit. Even when you mention it this time, there's another educational film called I Like Bikes. Not nearly this violent, but it does have early Moog, so that one we'll get to that at some point. That has some fun music as well.
I think after this film, I'm not sure how much I like bikes, but anyway.
Well, it's I Like Bikes, but
exactly.
That's the name of that one. That's for another day and time, though. As for us, our Aural Hygiene Pod at Twitter, at Facebook is probably the place to go looking for us. And Scott, why don't you tell them about your digital presence, which also happens to be mine. But hey, I don't plug it on a show usually. So
yeah, just contact if you have any messages or something you'd like to, any feedback. Just contact myself through Matt, and take care, cosmic citizens and brethren, and brothers and sisters.
That's where you're supposed to throw out Roving Sage Media, man. You
gotta sorry. And Roving Sage Media, yeah. Ever the self-promoter.
.bandcamp.com. Yeah. we both work on that stuff. So yeah, see
crime. Yeah.
I work with Luke, where he goes on this 15-minute like he's got his plug down. I don't.
And yes, safe riding, everyone, too.
Speaking of which, I talked to Luke.
Watch out for steamrollers and wear your helmet.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Be careful. Wear a helmet. You don't need to wear a mask on a bicycle, do you?
And run away from anybody with a monkey helmet or called Orville. And,
that's definitely good advice. Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for inviting me on. It was a real pleasure to have some time with you, and thanks for listening, everybody, too. We hope you could enjoy through our eyes and ears and have a pretty trippy experience. And I hope you dive down the same rabbit hole. It's definitely worth it.
And as usual, I'll be linking the YouTube for folks in the description. I imagine you'd probably watch it, then listen to us. But hey, maybe you don't. So if so, that's what you do.